Okay, check it out. So I was able to kind of coil the conduit into the cabinet here. So this tip goes in one of these holes just like that. See that? And then this nut that we're probably going to end up replacing goes on the other side of this bulkhead, like over here, and then screws on and sandwiches that together. All right, guys, we are back on the boat. So it is the evening of a Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Just had some work and during the day, and now I'm back here doing what I love. So I found an old version of our end piece for our conduit, and I thought it was interesting to show y'all because I mean, the design is identical, right? Like over 40 years of, I guess, technological improvement elsewhere. Nothing's really changed here. I guess if it works, it works. But remember what I was talking to you about this nut that is clearly not stainless? Yeah, it never was. Look, so even the original one from 1984 is the original nut. And this one, I believe, was from the inside of the boat. The outside of the boat, like in the lazarettes, was even more corroded than that. But let me show you the magnet test again on the original piece. So we'll just grab any old magnet here. Yeah, that's on there. Not stainless, right? So that's what's going to happen to this one in 40 years. I don't want that. So remember what we did last time. Quick test. I mean, by the color, you can even kind of see that it's a little too shiny for stainless. And then your magnet test. Same thing. That one's actually even a little more magnetic. But anyways, this is cheap garbage. We're not going to use that. But you guys know how I love my shiny new hardware. Boom. That's what I got. So this is proper 316 stainless. It even says 316 right there. So that has high corrosion resistance, especially in a saltwater environment. And check it out. The one that came from Edson, plus the one that I'm replacing. So that's a good way to tell if something is stainless. It's not as magnetic. Now this wasn't cheap. This one little bolt was over $4. I think it was like $4.24 or something like that for each. But that's cheap insurance for a future issue. To avoid a future issue. If we just left this one, you know, that's going to corrode over time. If we use this one, same thing, it's going to corrode over time. This one, though, has a way better chance of living a long service life. So while it might be $4 now, you spread that out over 40 years, it's good peace of mind. So the other thing I noticed is, and check it out. So if I spin that one on, and then I spin on the one that came with the kit. Watch how the one that came with the kit, how much it wiggles. See how much it wiggles? And then look at this one. So this one, $4 is good. I mean, it's definitely of a higher build quality. Not only is the material better, but like just the play and the threads compared to this cheapy one that came with the kit. anyways, I thought that was interesting. The other thing that I'm doing that didn't actually come with the kit, but I think it's an important upgrade, is to keep the plastic off of the wood and like the bulkhead and fiberglass. I got 3/16 stainless washers, so we're gonna do a washer there, so that sticks through the bulkhead. Then we'll do another washer there, and this nut will clamp down on the bulkhead, and so that way we have you know, more of a flat, bigger surface area to where this is going to really cinch down on the bulkhead. So I thought that was a nice addition. You know, these are also kind of expensive because it's a lot of 3/16 material. It's a big washer. These were like, I don't know, $1.20 each, something like that. But again, good insurance. And you know, when you have a softer material against a harder material, having some insulation there with the washer is the right way to go. So that's going to be our setup to replace the old ones, and let's go ahead and get working on that. Again, don't look at the mess of wires. Okay, there it is. All right, so as we talked about, the two ends of our conduit goes here, and then the wire that's inside of it goes in there, and the grease that you fill here by it's gravity fed, goes down in there and it lubricates the wire. So as you turn your steering wheel, the wire here goes back and forth, and so the idea is that'll grease it. And we have two of these because there's two conduits, one for one of the wires, and then another one for another one of the wires. So let's open these up and see if we can't learn a little bit of something. And this is the grease cup. So I guess it just comes off like that. Yeah, you put your your grease, this stuff that we talked about before, you put that down in there, and then yeah, gravity feeds the... Interesting that the lid is this whole thing. Like, I would think, why would it do that? That's weird. Oh, you know why? I bet, here's why. So you pack this up tight, like maybe your grease is, maybe it's like your grease can, like, you pile it up in here and then the grease comes up, and then this thing screws on, and then over time you can turn this, which then squeezes the grease down that way, so you can kind of squeeze the grease in and then take this off, build this up with grease, put this down over it, and then twist it down, you know, in your next maintenance cycle, and push the grease in. That's probably why it's designed to do that, because look how far down it goes. Like, why else would you have a design like that if it wasn't designed to, like, force the grease through here? Okay, so that's pretty cool. We figured that out, and then that's on there pretty good, so we're not going to try to take that. We are going to cut our brand new conduit right in half. But that's to put the grease fitting on, like we've talked about. So but the first things first is decide where you want to put the grease fitting, because it should be accessible and it should be relatively, like, in the middle of the start of the conduit and the end of the conduit, because you want the grease to kind of spread through evenly inside the conduit along the cable on the inside. And so if you're greasing like one end or the other, it's going to be further away from the opposite end, and the grease won't get in there as easily. So try to put this in the middle. So let's give it, and it has to be accessible. So let's go take a look where we're going to put it on Yara. So here I am in the lazarette. So we've got inside steering there. The tip of the conduit is about here, and then the end of the conduit is about right back here. So in the middle would be in the galley, and the galley behind the oven would be pretty good, but kind of inaccessible. So let's put it in the lazarette. So that blue tape is where I'm gonna put it. Now, don't take my word for granted. Like, that is the original spot from the original builder. So this was really their idea too, but it's a good spot. It's a good idea to put the grease fitting here, so I'm gonna do the same. So in order to make that cut, I got the cutoff wheel. So just a little 12-volt Milwaukee cutoff wheel with a metal blade on it to cut metal, because I'm pretty sure in here it's reinforced with a metal spiral. That's what all these spiral marks are, or spiral like bumps are. Pretty sure that's metal reinforced. So the metal one is gonna cut through just like that. And I put some tape on it just in case to, like, I don't know, mark where I'm gonna cut, but then kind of protect the edges of the conduit here. So let's get to cutting, and I'll set it. So sparks are cool. Definitely metal on the inside of there. Clearly this was the right tool for the job, but you could have also used just like a regular hacksaw. It would just take a lot longer and be more effort, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so now here's our grease cup. And so what should happen is this should go on the end of the grease cup. Okay, it's in there, but that was not easy. I am like out of breath and sweating. So yeah. And I had to undo so I had to pull the conduit that goes to the aft of the boat out. So I kind of took a step back. So this conduit here, I've got it all coiled up, because basically what I was doing is just taking the whole coil of conduit and then just twisting it righty-tighty onto the other end of the conduit, and then just twisting it around in this little tiny space, around and around and around, and eventually, because the conduit is you know, screw shaped, the fitting went on. But that was hard, like way harder than it needs to be. And then to get it started, I jammed just a flathead screwdriver in that little gap right there to pry open the plastic fitting. But that was a lot of work. So, well, looky here. What's missing? Fear not, though. So one thing that I've come to appreciate over the years is, let me show you. So these, I guess they're called like, sometimes they're called like worm fittings. I don't know. I just call them hose clamps, even though they clamp onto more things than just hose. But see how they're designed to be used with the flat blade screwdriver? I try to avoid that at all costs, because the flat blade just slips in and out, and then sometimes you're like really cranking on it and it slips and you stab your finger. So I really try to avoid a flat blade, but the flat blades are everywhere, so you kind of will use them, even if you don't really like to use them. Preferred is something like this. So it's just a little, I don't know, a hex bit that goes off over the end of your hose clamp screw there. So you get, way more control and no risk of it slipping off and cutting yourself. So anyways, how am I going to get that out of there? So most of these, you can just back them out all the way until that little tail falls out. So watch. See? Some of them have like stoppers here and you can't do that. Which is fine, but whatever. So then you can just slip it on and then do your tightening. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're doing these hose clamps is do them to where you can access them later. So this, we'll get this tightened off and I'll show you what I mean. So, because this is basically going to sit back here against the wall, like it's just going to go right back there like that. These will be facing outward. So if you ever needed to undo these, it won't be against the hole or against the shelf. It'll be facing outward for you to access it. So always keep that in mind when you put on your hose clamps is, can you access the little bolt to loosen and tighten it? So now that we've got that on, let's put our actual conduit back to where it went. But this is the first one, so it's a learning experience. Hopefully the second one set of conduit goes easier. So let's get this routed back in place. Boom, check it out. All right, so it's in there. I'm not super happy with it's not straight up and down, but whatever, it's fine. Maybe I can like mount it to the side of the hole, kind of like we've done with the propane hose that we saw in a previous episode. Like glue a little like bracket here and then like hold that in place or something. I don't know. It's fine though. I mean, I actually don't hate the angle because it's pointing towards me where I can access it from this lazarette. So it's not the worst. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't look like totally clean and like flush. Anyway, personal preference. Okay, so now that this is done, let's go to the back of the boat in the aft lazarette and see what we can do to get that one installed through the blast of the bulkhead. Let's give that a go. This piece is the terminator piece that just goes right there. Now the trick is I need to cut this so it fits into there. and gives me a nice clean swooping angle for the wire that runs through here to run through there freely and not get bound up. So I'm a little nervous about this cut. So I'm thinking if I kind of position my conduit where I want it and then kind of eyeball where it goes to the edge and maybe cut it a little bit long, because I can always just trim off more, but I can't add more to it. Okay, so I figured it out how I could measure. I just put the whole conduit through where it terminates all the way and kind of positioned it in the spot where it needs to be. And then I marked on my piece here, this length of tape is exactly how far the conduit goes into the end fitting. So now it's just a matter of making sure that I just basically mark the conduit just like right there. Yeah, so that wasn't too bad. I thought it was gonna be way worse, but that's what we'll make our cut. Let's get that set up. Check it out. It's in. Look at that. What a beauty. And it's nice and sturdy on there. Yeah, that looks really good. So, we did something really cool today. Like, this was a milestone, you guys. Like, I'm super excited. That was the first one. There's one more to go, and I think the next one is gonna go easy just because we learned so much from this. It's on. This is the little one that we've just been working on. The second, this is the one we did before. So this is number 2. Heat gun, way to go. You can hear it up there. It's cooling itself off, but 800 degrees and a lot more time. And this thing just slowed it all in. So that was a win. I recommend that for if anybody's going to do this project. Get yourself a heat gun. Usually you can heat up the plastic and then slide the conduit in. That was a win. It out. Both of them are in. Nice over there. Nice over here. Nice and snug. Got a good sweeping motion. Yes. That's awesome. So, what did we learn today? We learned that the heat gun on those plastic fittings is like super awesome. So definitely recommended that if you're gonna do this project, get your heat gun out, because we saw the ribs on the inside of those fittings, and without having a full range of motion to screw it on like it's a nut or a bolt, it's not really going to go on very easy. So use the heat gun. That was an awesome win today. We're about 2 hours in, so about 30 minutes over our anticipated or my predicted timeline, which, hey, that's fine. 2 hours. So This one went a lot easier because it's the second one of the two. So we learned a lot with the first one. I hope you guys liked this process. Yeah, thanks for your attention and thanks for watching. And yeah, I think we had a good day, and we can confidently say that the boat is just a little bit better.